Good evening, students. Welcome to today's class. Today we will discuss discussion method. As you know, teaching method can be broadly classified into two categories: teacher center and learner center. In teacher center, teacher mainly involved in all the things, and student center uh, student uh, learn by doing some work, some project, some other things. Discussion method is a totally participatory method. First, we will discuss the learning objective of our today lecture. At the end of this presentation, the student will be able to define discussion method, describe characteristics of discussion method, discuss types of discussion method, identify appropriate use of discussion method, discuss advantage and disadvantage of discussion method, describe planning for conducting discussion method. The word discuss has been derived from the Latin root discutere, which means to shake or to strike. Thus, discussion refers to thoroughly shaking up the subject that is maximizing it thoroughly to reach a conclusion. A discussion is an activity of sitting and taking about a specific subject. A discussion method uh, is the means by which people share experience, idea, and attitudes. Discussion method enable to engage in an orderly verbal interchange and to express thought on a particular subject. Discussion method are a variety of forums for open-ended collaborative exchange of ideas among a teacher and student or among student for the purpose of furthering student thinking, learning problem, uh, thinking, learning, problem solving, understanding, or literally appreciations. Participation present multiple point of view, respond to the idea of others, and reflect on their own ideas in an effort to build their knowledge, understanding, or interpretation of, of the matter at hand. Uh, Discussion may occur among members of their small group or whole class and be teacher lead or student lead. They frequently involve discussion of a written text. Through discussion can also focus on a problem, issue, or topic that has hmm, basis in a text. In the large sense of the term. Other terms for discussion used for pedagogical process are instructional conversation. A defining feature of discussion is that students have considerably agency in the construction of knowledge, understanding, or interpretation. In other words, they have considerable interruption authority for evaluating the uh, validity of participation response. Discussion involve two-way communication between participations. In the classroom situation, a teacher and a student all participate in discussion. During discussion, the teacher spends some time listening while the student spends some time talking. The discussion is therefore a more active learning experience for the student than the lecture. Now we will discuss definition of discussion method. Discussion method of teaching is a group activity involving the teacher and the student to define the problem and seek its solution. Discussion method is also described as a constructive process involving listening, thinking, as well as the speaking ability of the student. Uh, Characteristics of discussion method ensure maximum participation. Uh, Students have the opportunity to criticize and evaluate. Logical and meaningful criticism should be accepted. Students should echo the discussion themselves. Keeping teacher as guide. Teacher select the topic only with the help to the student. And discussion method, teacher play a facilitator role. So teacher provide a topic and other material related to discussion method. Teacher divides the class into different group and gives the topic of the discussion to each group. Every group has a leader to anchor and conduct the discussion. Students have leadership quality should be select for anchoring. Relevant topic should only be considered. In the end, teacher draw the conclusion of the discussion with the help of the leaders. Types of discussion method. Mainly, there are two types of discussion method: spontaneous discussion method and planned discussion method. A spontaneous discussion method is a generally start from a student question about some current event that may be related to the topic under the study. Such a discussion is quite helpful to students as it helps them to understand current events, to analyze and relate fact to real life situation. In such discussion, the knowledge of facts is reviewed and understanding is developed. Planned discussion. Such discussion may be initiated by the teacher by asking one student to present a report and other to discuss them it in detail. This technique needs a careful planning by the teacher by including presenting facts to the class and unifying them uh, in the form of conclusion. An intensive list of questions is made by the teacher, and this should be injected into the discussion at appropriate time. Teacher should at the times emphasizes a point and should see that all relevant points are um, covered during discussion. Sorry. Facilitating effective discussion. Initiating and sustaining a lively, productive discussion are among the most challenging activity for an instructor, uh, according to Devesh 1993. Here are some strategies that will help you to prepare for and lead an effective discussion. Preparing for a discussion. Plan how you will conduct the discussion. Although the ideal discussion is spontaneous and unpredictable, you will want to do some careful planning. You should have a clear goal, objective for discussion, a plan for how you will prepare the student, and general idea about how you will guide the discussion. So, first step is plan how we will conduct the discussion. Help student for prepare for the discussion. Uh, you can distribute a list of questions for each discussion. Ask a student to bring in their own question. Suggest key concept or themes for them to focus on, or ask them to collect evidence that clarifies or uh, uh, a particular concept or problem. Discussion will be more satisfying for you and your student if they are prepared. So the second step in uh, discussion method, distribute the question, distribute the work related to the discussion method. uh, Distribute uh, question according to the child interest, child student capability, and student age. Consider this thing in your mind whenever you distributing question. Establish ground rule for participation in a discussion. In order for a discussion to be effective, students need to understand the value of actively uh, uh, listening mm, to their peers, tolerating opposing viewpoint, and being open-minded. They also need to recognize the importance of staying focused and experiencing themselves clearly. You might spend the first session with your student exploring the characteristics of effective and ineffective discussion. So, uh, establish the ground rule, uh, time duration, and other things. Establish rule. Mm. Clearly communicate how much time you have for the question or discussion, and what you are looking for from this time. Do you ideally accept every student to have a question? Are you looking for the looking for problem posing questions for clarification, extension, applications? Do not assume that a student know that student what the pedagogical purpose of the discussion is. Ask student to state their name before they begin speaking. Using their name when responding to their question or point. Keep background noise to a minimum. One person speaking at a time is essential if all students are expected to listen. Be ready and willingly uh, to work with the sign interpretation, inter uh, per pairs or card interpreters during questions. The discussion periods slow down when you are using big words or complicates pages, and spell out key names and argue student to do the same. starting a discussion, refer to question you distributed. Start the discussion by asking one of the study question you assign, or by asking group member which of the question they found most challenging. Make a list of key points, identifying and list the important points from the reading, and uses these as a starting point for the discussion. Use a partner activity. A students to come to discussion with 3 or 4 questions. Prepare Start the discussion by having students pair of and alternate asking and answering their questions. Use a brainstorming activity. Ask students to contribute ideas related to the discussion topic, no matter how brother or uh, and write all idea on the board. After a set period of time, or when students have run out of ideas, typically evaluate all the ideas or categorize themes. Pose an opening question and give student a few minutes to record an answer. The process of writing down their answer will enable students to generate new idea as well as the question. After they have finished writing, ask for volunteers or call on a student to share their ideas. This activity also gives quieter student the opportunity to prepare answer they can share with the group. Divide students into small groups to discuss a specific question or issue. Be sure to assign explicit questions and guidelines, and uh, give the group a time limit to complete the exercise. Also ask them to select a record and or a reporter who will report back to the entire discussion group. Pose a controversial issue or organize an informal debate. Group the student according to the pro or con position. Uh, they can take and ask the groups to formulate 2 3 argument or example to support their position. Write each group's statement on the board and use these as a starting point for discussion. Appropriate use of discussion method. Discussion method is used in area in which students already have some knowledge or experience. Discussion may be used to develop the main point to be covered in a lesson. Students can draw on their experience to contribute to the discussion. All subjects except mathematics, art, music, dance can be taught. Discussion may also be used following a lecture or demonstration to help trainees apply what they are have to learn. Now we will discuss advantage of discussion method. Discussion method have lot of advantage. Uh, this method is useful in higher classes. Uh, Discussion method can develop following ability among the students: thinking and communicating powers. Discussion method is very useful for extrovert student, or also discussion method also improve the listening skill, also improve the communication skill, increase tolerance, increase listening power to the student. Uh, uh, Discussion method develop leadership quality to the student, experience ability to the student, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. आपने देखा होगा कि जब स्टूडेंट किस कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड, और जब टीचर डिस्कशन मेथड अपनाता है तो वो उस स्टूडेंट में प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग की कैपेसिटी डेवलप हो जाती है. क्रिएटिविटी, motivation and confidence. Uh, Discussion method develop confidence in a student because they speak in front of their peer groups, in front of their teacher, so they build their confidence. And short, high level, cognitive and effective objective can be realized through discussion method. Disadvantage of discussion method. First one is discussion method, time consuming process. In this method, some students are not interested to take participation. Mm, uh, डिस्कशन मेथड में इंट्रोवर्ट स्टूडेंट पसंद नहीं करते हैं, तो ये भी एक बात समस्या है. देयर आर there is a chance that only few students may dominate the whole discussion. This is the first disadvantage of discussion method. It is possible that discussion is initiated on those aspect of the problem with which few uh, prominent students of the class are concerned. It is time consuming process. Uh, uh, no adaptable to all teaching learning situation. Uh, if it is not properly guided, a discussion can dangers into the consideration of inappropriate topic, adding uh, confusion rather than clarification to the class. Discussion मेथड में बच्चों में कई बार टॉलरेंस पावर नहीं होती है तो वो आपस में मतभेद हो जाते हैं. टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस है और जो टॉपिक रिलेवेंट होने चाहिए जिस पर वो डिस्कशन कर सकें. और डिस्कशन मेथड की सबसे बड़ी डिसएडवांटेज ये है कि ये छोटे ग्रुप में नहीं किया जा सकता, ये हायर क्लास में ही किया जा सकता है. Planning for discussion method. Discussion session can be led by the uh, instructor or can take place in a group in either case. The goal is to meet the lesson objective by allowing the student to relate relevant personal experience or event uh, which have occurred in the work setting, contribute ideas or personal opinion, apply what has been learned to familiar situation or solving problem, express what had been learned, whether the discussion is instructor, lead, or takes place in the group, it must be guided by instructor. It must be focused on the objective of the lesson. It is the instructor responsibility to see that the objectives are met. These are the references you go through for further more study of discussion method. In this lecture, we will discuss uh, define discussion method. Uh, then we see the definition of discussion method. Then we learn characteristics of discussion method, uh, types of discussion method, uh, facilitating effective discussion method, uh, starting a discussion, appropriate use of discussion method, advantage of discussion method, disadvantage of discussion method, and planning for discussion method. Thank you, students. You listen me uh, patiently. Uh, Thank you.